I am with Natalia San Antonio in Ocean Grove, New Jersey. Natalia loves As It Was by Harry Styles. Natalia, welcome.
So great to be here. Thank you for
What
having me.
what do you feel when you listen to As It Was?
That's a great question. So I feel a lot of different emotions when I listen to As It Was. It has been my number one song for almost a full year since it came out in I think April or March of last year. And ever since then, it's just been like my top song on Spotify. I When I first listened to it, it really sounded like Take on Me, the 80s song, and it just had that wonderful 80s feel, and I really love 80s music. So it made me want to dance, and um yeah, like that was the first feeling that I had when I listened to it. Um but I think there's just so much to it. Like I feel nostalgia when I listen to it. I feel sadness when I listen to it, and I think I can listen to it with I don't know, so many different um settings. Like it just fits out any mood that I'm in. So that's why it's my favorite.
What places do you associate with it, if any?
Yeah, I mean, when it first came out, I was in Bishkek, Kyrgyzstan. So I definitely associate it with Bishkek, and especially during that time, like spring. And there's a really nice park by my apartment in Bishkek, and I remember like walking through the park and listening to it then. Um, and I think a lot about just the memories that I had in Bishkek, and uh, the type of person that I was in Bishkek, and how I'm different now, and kind of how that song relates to all of that. Um, and I'm a person who, like, when I listen to a song, I always think of like the memories that I had when I listened to it first. Um, and I think that's really important. Yeah.
Do you feel that this song more turns you into a different person while you're listening to it, or heightens who you are?
Um,
Or
I
both?
think, yeah, I think it kind of does both. So this song is a lot um, kind of about someone changing, and how like there was this, fleeting moment when something was one way, and then it's never going to be that way again. Like it's not the same as it was. And I think that like says a lot about myself, like thinking about myself maybe before the song came out, before I was abroad, versus my experiences after I was abroad, because I felt like that changed me a lot. Um, and in some ways, I'm a different person, but in other ways, I feel like much more myself than I've ever felt.
Why do you think As It Was is one of the most popular songs of the past few years?
Yeah, I definitely think a lot of it has to do with just how upbeat it is, and how it has like the familiar 80s vibe, and it reminds you of a lot of old songs. And they're specifically in the end, it reminded me of just like, I don't know, like wedding bells, and like really just exciting getting up and dancing. But and I think that's what makes it like a big hit, and that's why it's been on number one for so long. But when you look at the words, it's makes you really sad, and I think that's what I like so much about it, because in one sense it can be this hit that everyone loves, but it there's just like so much more to it. And um I think it's like one of the more sad songs that I know, just because on the outside it's so upbeat, but um it's actually like heartbreaking. um yeah. And like, there can be songs that are just sad songs. They have a sad melody and sad words, but when a song is like on the outside it seems very happy, but then when you actually like look at it, it can be the opposite. And I think that has a lot more meaning to it, and can have like many more layers to it.
Melodically, do you hear sadness too, or just lyrically?
Um, I mean, definitely lyrically, but melodically, I'd say like overall, no, but there are some parts where I can kind of, maybe I'm making it up, but I can kind of sense there's some sadness to it. Like in the chorus, like the in this world it's just us, it's not the same as it was. Like that part I can kind of see. And like I've always wondered what the song would be like it if like the melody were sad and slow. Um and I think that'd be interesting. I know some people did like remake the song. But I don't know. I think it would be cool if Harry did that. Like kind of an alternative version, even though I don't think I'd like it as much. I think it's like perfect the way it is right now.
Have you heard this live?
Have I heard what live?
This song live?
The song live? No, I haven't.
Okay.
But I wish I could.
You
I mean,
mentioned this. Yeah, go ahead.
I've seen a lot of like live videos of it, and that's usually it's in his concerts it's a really big crowd pleaser. Like everyone is really excited. And yeah, it's one of his really, really big upbeat songs during the concert. So, um, yeah.
You mentioned nostalgia. Moving later in life, much later. Are you excited to be nostalgic about this song?
Oh my gosh, I'm very excited. I love nostalgia, and I just love feeling nostalgia, even though I found recently sometimes it's hard for me to listen to this song. Um, just because there's like so much attached to it, I think. And it's like, oh, I don't want to be in my feels right now. I'm not going to listen to this song. Um, but I definitely am excited because, the song came out in such like a wonderful time in my life, and a time where I was really able to like explore myself. And I think that's, it's a wonderful timestamp to have for the future, for future me.
Our third guest, Hallie, said that you need to be saved from Harry Styles. Is Hallie right in any way?
I appreciated that she was trying to save me from Harry Styles, but I honestly um, don't think I could ever be saved from Harry Styles, and I think that's a good thing. Um, I've always been a fan of his, but especially during the pandemic, I kind of it was his music was really something that kept me going, kept me positive, and yeah, it's really fun liking an artist so much where you like know a lot about like everything about that person. And I don't know, I his music is just so good. I can't stop listening to it.
Should Hallie listen to more Harry Styles instead?
Um, I mean, I think so. I'm not going to make anyone listen to any type of music, but I definitely think, even though As It Was is very popular and I love it, I think some of his real gems are in the songs that people don't know as well. And I feel like that's the case with a lot of artists. They have hits and then, which aren't as meaningful or as well, maybe that's not true, but um, yeah, I think it's nice like listening to everything from an artist to kind of get a full glimpse of them before kind of you make your opinions.
What's the most opposite music to As It Was that you also love?
Um, well, I've been really listening to The Strokes a lot, and this is just the first thing that popped into my head. But I was
Sure.
in the car with Julia, and there's a song that I've been loving called "Ode to the Mets" by The Strokes, and that song is just like it's very slow and it's very long and it's very well, nostalgic. So I guess it's not completely opposite from As It Was, but there's a very clear vibe that's different. And I was talking to Julia about As It Was and Ode to the Mets, and I was like, yeah, like finally, like Ode to the Mets is my #1 Spotify song. As It Was is no longer. And she was like, thank goodness, because like Ode to the Mets, it's a sad song, but As It Was is so much sadder. So I'm glad that like you've transitioned out of that. And I'm like, you're right. Um, yeah, so that I'd probably say that one.
And
Because I'm not gonna dance to that song. I'm gonna
right.
dance to As It Was. And I have danced to it many times. So
If As It Was a drink in a cafe, which drink would it be?
mm, that's a great question. Um, hmm. I would say As It Was could be a nice little like cappuccino moment. Because you know, from from the first sips of a cappuccino, you have the foam, and that's pretty light, just as the melody and As It Was is. But when you get deeper, you get to the espresso, which is pretty strong. Similarly to As It Was, when you kind of you look deeper and have the opportunity to think about more about what the lyrics are and how they relate to you, like a pop of espresso. So if you want, you could add a little syrup in there, like caramel or vanilla. That's not my thing, but if
A
just want to put
remix.
that out there. Yeah.
Natalia, thank you very much. My pleasure.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciated it.